Good day. Welcome to another session of Fog Accountancy Tutorials. Today we are going to begin a series on International Public Sector Accounting Standards, what we call IPSAS. Okay. Now, in my private messages, in my WhatsApp groups, in the comment sections, and on my social media platforms, people have been advocating that I should do videos on public sector accounting and then taxation. Now, there is a reason why I have not been doing videos on taxation and on public sector accounting, and the reason is simple. I have followers from so many countries, and the tax laws and the public sector laws are different across countries. Now, I am living in Ghana. If I use my Ghanaian financial management laws to do a video on public sector accounting, or using my tax laws to do a video on taxation for you, what is going to happen is that you may pick what I have taught and apply in your country, which may not be beneficial or relevant to your country, and it's going to cause you to fail your exam. And so what I do is that I try as much as possible to avoid doing videos on laws that are country specific, because I have followers from all over Africa and the world. Now, today what I'm going to do is that I'm going to look at International Public Sector Accounting Standards, which we call IPSAS. I'm going to do an overview of IPSAS. Why IPSAS? I told myself IPSAS is the only public sector accounting area that I can handle, because even though it relates to public sector accounting and finance, it is a standardized international standard that regulates public sector accounting practices all over the world. And therefore, regardless of the country where you are, International Public Sector Accounting Standards will apply in your country. And now the wave of IPSAS is moving so fast that countries are quickly adopting the use and practice of IPSAS. And therefore, IPSAS is designed just as IFRS, and it has a lot of similarities with the IFRS, the International Financial Reporting Standards, which we also use in private sector financial reporting. Now, the public sector accounting standards are so fast being accepted all over the world, and is being examined in most public sector accounting examinations across the globe. And that is why I said, okay, the only aspect of the public sector that I can really teach on this channel is the International Public Sector Accounting Standards, which we call IPSAS for short. And so what I'm going to do with you right now is that we are going to look at IPSAS, what it's all about, and then give you a quick overview of the International Public Sector Accounting Standards. Remember that many of us are already aware that there are financial reporting standards for the private sector, and that is why the public sector accounting standard has also been codified so that it will be similar to what we have from IFRS. Now, take note that International Public Sector Accounting Standards, IPSAS, has a lot of similarities with IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, and many of the topics are the same, and even the content, just that many of them have some differences that are tailor-made to suit public sector entities. And therefore, what we are going to do now is just simple. We are just going to look at an overview of the IPSAS. We are going to look at the various standards that are there one by one. I'm just going to look at them, have an overview, and then I'll take them one by one. Of course, I'm not done with IFRS. There are still some standards in IFRS that I need to treat on this channel, but I'm going to treat the IPSAS and the IFRS side by side, so that at least those of us who are looking for videos on International Public Sector Accounting Standards will not have to wait for me to finish the IFRS. Each of us will have some benefits. We are meeting ourselves halfway, and I think that is what is going to help all of us. And so I'm not going to take much time. I'm going to take you through IPSAS, the overview of IPSAS. What is IPSAS? I've already said that IPSAS means International Public Sector Accounting Standards. So it's an acronym for International Public Sector Accounting Standards. Now, before the introduction of IPSAS, every country has its own unique way of preparing public sector accounts. And remember that public sector accounts are government accounts. Okay, so each country has different ways of preparing the account, and there are so many bases of preparation of accounting in the public sector. We have the cash basis, and then we have the accrual basis. Some even use the modified cash basis and the modified accrual basis. Now there are so many ways that each country decided to adapt different styles on different approaches to the preparation of accounts for public sector organizations. Now, what IPSAS has come to do is to create a standardization. Okay, so IPSAS is bringing a standard such that all over the world, all those countries that will adapt the international standards of public sector will now prepare accounts that are easily comparable with each other because the standards are not the same. So, for example, if Ghana was using cash basis throughout and then Nigeria was using the accrual basis, it will be very difficult to compare financial statements from these two countries. But because IPSAS has been introduced, now if Ghana adopts IPSAS as we are doing now, and Nigeria also adopts IPSAS, then what it means is that we are going to prepare accounts with the same principles, the same concepts, and the same conventions. And that means that financial statements from both countries can be easily comparable. And that is where the world is going now. So we have so many standards dealing with different topics under financial reporting for the public sector. So without wasting my time, let us look at the various IPSAS that we have currently, and then the topics that they deal with. So we have IPSAS 1, which deals with the presentation of financial statements. IPSAS 2 deals with cash flow statements or statement of cash flows. IPSAS 3 deals with accounting policies, changes in accounting estimates and errors. You will recall that many of these standards are also in the financial reporting for private entities. It's just that the standards are not the same, even the numbers. For example, in the private sector entity or in IFRS, cash flow statement is dealt with under IFRS or IAS 7. But when we come to IPSAS, it's dealt with at IPSAS 2. Okay, so the numbering will not be the same necessarily, but the topics largely are the same. But the content of what we do in the public sector, as far as these standards are concerned, may also differ because of the scope and the nature of the organizations that we run. So please take note. Even though many of them look similar or the same, but there could be some slight differences. So you don't just carry it wholly, that 100%, everything that you know in cash flow in the private sector is exactly what you are going to apply in the public sector. Of course, you may have about 90% of them following the same pattern, but the transactions and the activities of the private sector will not be the same as the public sector entity. And therefore, you need to make it so unique that you are preparing IPSAS 2 cash flow statement for public sector entities, and therefore you focus on those transactions that are public sector related, and therefore you see some slight differences in there, but like I said, they are largely similar. So let's just quickly look at the IPSASs that we have and the topics, and then we will look at where to continue from in the subsequent videos. So we have IPSAS 4, which talks about the effects of changes in foreign exchange rates. In fact, if you go to IFRS, that is dealt with as IAS 21, but here it's IPSAS 4. And then IPSAS 5 talks about borrowing costs. Of course, we also have borrowing costs in IFRS, which is under IAS 23, but here it is IPSAS 5. Then we have IPSAS 6, consolidated and separate financial statement. Now, you see that in IPSAS, they have combined consolidated and separate financial statement. But in IFRS, there are two different standards. Okay, so that is why I'm saying they are not exactly the same. There could be some similarities. In IFRS, IAS 27 deals with separate financial statement, and IFRS 10 deals with consolidated financial statement. But in IPSAS, they have combined them. So IPSAS 6 deals with consolidated and separate financial statement. So that is what I'm saying, that you don't need to carry the knowledge you have in IFRS completely here. You need to learn, unlearn, and relearn. And you need to always be ready to adapt changes that you see as far as IPSAS is concerned. Now, IPSAS 7 deals with investments in associates. IPSAS 8 deals with interest in joint ventures. IPSAS 9 deals with revenue from exchange transactions. IPSAS 10 deals with financial reporting in hyperinflationary economies. IPSAS 11 deals with construction contracts, and then IPSAS 12 deals with inventories. IPSAS 13 deals with leases, accounting for leases. And then IPSAS 14 deals with events after reporting dates. Many of these are still in IFRS. Then IPSAS 15 deals with financial instruments, disclosure, and presentation. So you see in IFRS, presentation is different from disclosure, but in IPSAS, it's combined. Then IPSAS 16 deals with investment property. IPSAS 17 deals with property, plant, and equipment. And then IPSAS 18 deals with segment reporting. IPSAS 19 deals with provisions, contingent liabilities, and contingent assets. IPSAS 20 deals with related party disclosures, which is dealt with in IFRS under IAS 24. Here is IPSAS 20. Then IPSAS 21 deals with impairment of non-cash generating units. IPSAS 22 deals with disclosure of financial information about general government sector. IPSAS 23 deals with revenue from non-exchange transactions, that is taxes and transfers. And then we continue. IPSAS 24 deals with presentation of budget information in financial statement. I bet you have not seen this in the IFRS, right? That is why I'm saying that these IPSAS or standards are tailor-made for public sector operations and then their transactions, because there are a lot of budgeting in the public sector. Now, IPSAS 25 deals with employee benefits. IPSAS 26 deals with impairment of cash generating assets. Now, please take note. Let me draw attention to something. Look at IPSAS 21. It deals with impairment of non-cash generating assets. And then IPSAS 26 deals with impairment of cash generating assets. So impairment as a standard has been split into two as far as IPSAS is concerned. We have one standard that deals with non-cash generating assets impairment, and another one deals with cash generating assets. But we don't have that in the IFRS. So please take note. IFRS, we have just one standard dealing with impairment, IAS 36. So there are differences. Then we have IPSAS 27 that deals with agriculture, and then IPSAS 28 deals with financial instrument presentation. Then IPSAS 29 deals with financial instruments recognition and measurement. And then IPSAS 30 deals with financial instruments only disclosures. Then IPSAS 31 deals with intangible assets. IPSAS 32 deals with service concession arrangements. And then IPSAS 33 deals with first-time adoption of accrual basis, IPSAS. IPSAS 34 deals with separate financial statements. So you see there are combinations and they are splits, which you get to understand as we move on. IPSAS 35 deals with consolidated financial statements. IPSAS 36 deals with investment in associates and joint ventures. IPSAS 37 deals with joint arrangements. Then IPSAS 38 deals with disclosure of interest in other entities. Of course, IPSAS 39 again deals with employee benefits. And then IPSAS 40 deals with public sector combinations. IPSAS 41 deals with financial instruments. And then IPSAS 42 deals with social benefits. Now, these are standards that are to regulate public sector accounting. Now, you see that some of them, we have a standard that combines them, and there are others that there is a standard that is splitting them again. Now, you understand as we move on, we'll take them one by one and then we'll explain them to you. So this is an overview of international public sector accounting standards. In fact, we are going to take them one by one in our next videos. As far as the videos of IPSAS is concerned, we'll still continue to do the videos of accounting, management accounting, and the others side by side. But then at least there should be some IPSAS that we are releasing. And that is exactly what I want us to do. And so I want you to continue to follow us and then just anticipate that so many videos of IPSAS is coming your way one by one. We're going to treat them individually just as we did with the IFRS. And I'm sure that it's going to really help you in the exam that you are preparing for. Remember that we are still here to serve you and we are not going anywhere. Continue to follow us, subscribe to the channel if it's your first time, share this video and let others also know that finance and accounting is still being studied on this channel. Until we meet again for another video, it's bye for now. Thank you so much.